are watching the most interactive professional wrestling discussion show on the internet. WWE Impact Wrestling, ROH Wrestling. Pro wrestling at its finest on In the Hot Seat with your host, Fortminorproject.
Alright, what's going on, guys? And yes, welcome to another episode of In the Hot Seat. Of course, as always, I'm Fortminorproject, and I'm not alone in this one. Not only do I got one guest with me, but I got two. We'll start things off with Connor. Okay, Faye, what's up?
What up, man? What's going on? Thank you so much for having me on here. We've been trying to do this for at least 3 years, and thank God we finally got to do it down. So cool. I just wish you hadn't invited other guests on this show.
No, not for a while, just you two. So I wanted to make sure I have this as professional as I can, trying to make an upgrade. You are my teachers.
You picked the wrong guests to have to make it professional.
Well, hey, it helped. But yeah, we also got Heel Steven. What's up, man?
What up, Dave? How are you? Connor, how are you?
Meh.
It's first day of spring.
First day of spring, and we're in our houses. We're okay. We're not affected by the virus, but Wrestlemania is still running wild. I'm sorry, but to me, I'm just going to call it COVID-19. I don't see the fear in calling it coronavirus.
It's whatever you want to call it, really.
I think COVID has just that more of a fierce name like that, you know. I'm just saying.
We get to enjoy the beautiful first day of spring from our windows.
Well, yeah, that's why I got the shades open, having the sun come in. You can see that in the video. But, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about next. Anyway, the first topic, of course, the virus and everything. So, how are you guys handling it? And if you have any recommendations on how to handle it, welcome to share that. Let's start it off with Steven.
Okay, I work at a supermarket as my second job. To all you idiots out there, please stay home. Stay the fuck home. Seriously, it's not the end of the fucking world, okay? There's no need to buy 15 1-gallons of water. There's no need to buy the whole shelf of toilet paper, paper towels. It's not the fucking end of the world, okay? I'm just saying, stay the fuck home. I do not want to see you. I do not want to deal with you and your shitty coupons. You people annoy the fuck out of me. God damn it.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were talking
You want
about...
to tell us how you really feel, Steven?
I love you all.
He said,
I love you all.
There you have it. But yeah, like we were saying earlier, it's just really weird just going out shopping and everything, seeing all that just empty and stuff. There's no reason for it, unless you actually really need it and everything, then yeah. But no reason to take like all of it. Yeah, Connor, your thoughts?
It really hasn't affected me as much as others. I'm still going to work. It's not really doing much different for me other than just having to take, different precautions and whatnot. I do, as much as I joke and give him a hard time, I do echo Steven's sentiments as far as do not go out if you don't have to. Exactly. It is not necessary to be hoarding up and stocking up on these products. There are other people to think about here. As far as recommendations to get through things, I mean, just try to find ways to pass the time, whether it be board games, video games. God's sakes, how many streaming services do we have now between the WWE Network, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix?
There's a whole bunch of them.
AMC, it's crazy how much stuff is out there. So I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities, to be able to do things. But as far as right now, as far as affecting me, not huge. But I know a lot of other people have been hugely affected by this.
Yeah. And it keeps changing constantly all the time. It's crazy. I think we have 15 days or something like that for that. Who knows at this point anymore? And yeah, I just been staying home and just really do what makes you happy and all that stuff. Like Connor said, just watch stuff on Disney Plus, WWE Network, stuff like that. And the only form of entertainment right now, we kind of had UFC, but then they changed plans, so now it's just pro wrestling at this point. That's the only thing that's live besides the news, so that's pretty much like our medicine, if you want to put it that way, that's keeping us going. So we're going to get right into it and see what other stuff that we could talk about, because there's a lot to talk about in terms of that. I think it only makes sense to actually get into with this one, with the Ruthless Aggression Era series that's on the network. We've seen now half of it. I'm hearing there's going to be more of it. I've been a really good fan of it, a big fan of it actually. This is the time frame too for me, like when I got into wrestling, so it was really cool seeing like familiar faces and how things got started. Some things I knew, some things I didn't know, and I'm curious to see what the other half is going to be. I think it's going to be happening later on this year, so it's been really cool. What are you guys' thoughts on it, and anything that they did add? What did you like? Felt like that you missed out on it? Everything in between. Kind of your thoughts as a whole on the Ruthless Aggression Era series.
To say that I love this series is kind of an understatement, because it's honestly one of my favorite they've done in a while. I know that I had the list here, and it's going to piss me off because I wanted to see if I could pull it up too. But it's the same thing for me. The era that I went into, that I started with, was the Ruthless Aggression Era. I actually started very late in terms of like watching as an active fan. So to be able to relive a lot of these things is really, really fun. And I really can't wait to see, what happens next. I know that, the first couple of episodes so far, they've done the brand split, which our friend Levi would love. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Evolution, and then obviously the start of the whole thing in and of itself. I know future episodes they've already announced. In fact, I have the list pulled up right here. It's going to be, bear with me here as I pull up the list: the Elimination Chamber, the Diva Search, Tough Enough, Money in the Bank, Undertaker, OVW, and I think one other one, but that's the big one. So it would I can't wait to hear all this. And someone who especially loves to peel back behind the curtain and scenes and stuff. If you loved the Monday Night War docuseries that they did,
it's very similar.
I almost guarantee you'll love this one too.
All right, Steven, your thoughts?
I think overall, again, just like Connor, my interest regrew again. Well, for me in this case, it regrew again during the Ruthless Aggression Era. Part of my middle school. That was like literally for me, end of elementary going into middle school, right? Some of the stuff I remember, right? The brand split, Evolution, Brock Lesnar, the John Cena thing as well. The rise of Cena, I was there for that too. So again, for me overall, just like Connor said, if you enjoy the Monday Night War series, you're gonna enjoy the Ruthless Aggression. Is the whole series as well. What I wish they do as well, and maybe they will, they can do a series also on the 80s of wrestling. If
I
you
could
will
see that, yeah.
I'm not sure if many, again, because they push out a lot of the new stuff, new, which is great, awesome. Granted, Monday Night War was the exception.
Yeah.
Too. I would love to see them push out some of the classic stuff from like yesterday, before any of us were even born, if you will. So there's that.
Yeah, just like show like all the eras, not just these, basically.
Yeah,
I could see that. That'd be dope, actually. Alright, so yeah, definitely I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. Especially now too, you can just binge watch the whole thing and everything. I pretty much remember all of that stuff happening. I came in around 2000, 2001, so it's right around my time frame. So I thought, that was a cool thing since I got into it with my stepdad. I saw him watching it. I thought it was really cool. So been hooked ever since, and it was pretty much like spot on and everything that I've seen. Like you guys mentioned, like with Evolution, how they got their start. Really cool memories with that. How John Cena got his start and stuff. And speaking of starts, I'll get into with the next one. Is I didn't think they were going to do this or not, and I'm hoping they actually have actual like episodes of this, and that's for the FCW story. And with this one, I remember watching this one too. I don't remember seeing all the episodes, but from what I've seen, it was really cool. It's like before NXT and how NXT was looking to actually be and stuff like that. So it's basically their training ground and everything, where people got their starts and everything. So some of the stuff I kind of forgotten and kind of refreshed my memory on it. So again, another good thing to watch on that. So We'll go back to Steven at your thoughts on the FCW story and what you remember from FCW.
I remember back in the day, I would go on YouTube. This was like 2010, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I would go on the YouTube channel, right? Back in the day when they didn't really care if they uploaded full episodes of Raw or SmackDown or stuff like that, right? I remember I wanted to catch up on Raw. And on my iPhone at the time, you would see, like, on the mobile device, right, the video, and then down below, this video suggested, like, hey, just in case. And I saw FCW, and I saw, I think on the graphic, I think it was Dolph Ziggler at the time. Like, wait a minute, what's he doing there? So I clicked on it, and I saw all, like, hey, it's basically, it was their farm system, their developmental, if you will. I remember some of the guys, even the guy that we don't even see now, that you're like, wow, what happened to him? For example, Richie Steamboat. You know, Wes Briscoe, who went to TNA and was part of Ace and Eight and stuff like that. But again, a lot of the guys that were there who literally had to, again, this scratch and claw, and again, it was different than what you see now at NXT. This is what I remember.
All right, Connor, your thoughts?
So, going back to, getting into it around the Ruthless Aggression era, I didn't know anything. I only knew what I saw on TV, and so I didn't know about OVW. I didn't know about, anything behind the scenes at that point, right? So FCW was kind of, started off in the late 2000s. They closed down OVW, and they went into doing their own, like, upgraded developmental. It's kind of like, this is gonna be a horrible analogy, it's kind of like Pokemon evolving. You start off with OVW, then it evolved to FCW, then evolved to NXT. But for me, I never really knew much about FCW. I didn't even know about its existence really until the very tail end. So I knew nothing about FCW other than it was a breeding ground for new talent. So to be able to watch this with, like, little to no knowledge other than knowing, who might have passed through the doors was really fun. But I will definitely say this. I will go on record in saying that the FCW documentary they did on the W Network is one of the best documentaries they've done probably in the last 5 years.
I can see that, yeah.
It reminded me a lot of the rise and fall of ECW DVD. A lot.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Yeah, it's like basically finding it by accident for most of us, so it was really nice to actually see that, like, see how the stars of right now that we're watching on TV right now, to see how they got their start. It's just really interesting and really cool. We'll go ahead and fast forward, and basically now, since it's basically happened, we recently had AEW, of course, recently being able to do their thing, and same thing with NWA, and being able to be a part of everything that's been going on, and actually, changing things up a little bit besides just having WWE and others. So now we have two other companies that have been able to join up in the mix, and it's been quite a bit. What are your thoughts on it as of right now, and what are you liking about it? What do you think they should be doing? Everything in between, basically. We'll go back to Connor on your thoughts on AEW and NWA as a whole.
Wow, that's a tough thing to kind of, like, condense down, but I'll start with NWA first. So NWA is, I'll go on record, it's my favorite promotion right now. Out of all of them, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, WWE, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, whatever, AEW.
So much.
NWA is my favorite promotion. No doubts about it. NWA is my favorite promotion. It's very grassroots. It's very back to basics. It's a mix of the old school with the new school. It has a very perfect balance. They found a great niche on YouTube. They have a great relationship with Fight TV as far as pay-per-views. It's great. It's simple. It's easy, and I love everything about it. I think that the business model that they are doing is one that I think fits given the grassroots nature that they have. So it's not like they know they can't go big league, and they're not trying to go big league, and that's one thing I appreciate, is that what their strengths are, and they're catering to them. AEW is a whole different animal, and I think that on one hand, it's obviously extremely refreshing to see a company that is on a similar level of WWE. I'm not saying the same, I'm saying similar in terms of having, like, a financial backer, being on a major network, things of that nature. AEW though is still trying to find its identity, I think, and that's really the interesting part for me, is that I'm not hoping it fails. Quite the contrary, I hope it succeeds, obviously. But I think the biggest hurdle for them right now is finding their identity, finding the proper balance of doing this versus that. And so everything is still in its infancy. It's not like AEW is like building up. It's not like WCW, where WCW at least had a name and had like an identity for a while, and then the brand just exploded. AEW just kind of came like out of like left field. It's like, oh hey, here's a thing, boom, off it goes. So there's still a lot of growth that needs to happen in the company. I'm not talking like financially, I'm talking like as they're, finding their identity, finding who works with them. So it's still one that I definitely am interested to see what happens in the future.
Yeah, and I know recently too you've been on the Circle Square recently, which is really cool, doing the live reactions for NWA, and they're doing like really different stuff there, which is pretty cool how they're doing that. And they're actually on YouTube, it's for free and everything, it's easy to access and stuff like that. And I know like some of the stars in a little bit, since I was able to go to WrestleCade, so that was really cool to see them actually be on there and get a chance to actually wrestle and stuff like that. And yeah, they're doing really cool stuff. I like both of them equally. I know it's been quite a bit for AEW. They're just getting their start. It's cool that they're on TNT and everything, so we got wrestling back on there. And yeah, they're doing actually really cool stuff, and I agree, they do have some similarities of WWE, but not too much, and they're still looking to be their own identity. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be able to handle things, especially for the years to come. So yeah, Steven, your thoughts?
Let me just say this right now about the NWA. It's amazing. I love what they're doing. I will go on record and say right now, Nick Aldis is doing, arguably right now, the best work of his career, hands down. I love Zicky Dice. I just do.
Yeah, the outlandish one.
I think, I don't know about you, Connor, but I just love Zicky Dice. That guy's the man right now.
There's a lot of characters to love on that show, and that's, again, the reason why I like it.
I think arguably right now as well, the question mark is the most over thing on the show.
Are you learning karate?
A little bit, yeah, karate.
Trying to translate. I'm getting Rosetta Stone and trying to learn the Mongolian language because I need to have it.
He's the man.
Close enough?
Yeah, it's close.
Connor, close enough?
I guess I don't know yet.
I don't know either, but again, I love what they're doing. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's studio based. It brings you back to 1983.
Yeah. Respecting the old school.
Respecting the old school. I love Joe Galli.
Yeah, he's cool.
Commentary. Joe Galli has a charm to him.
Yeah.
I would love to interview him for Around the Point down the road if it's possible.
Yeah.
Dave Marquette looks like Don Francisco a little bit. Sábado Gigante. If you who don't know, that was an old show back in Univision. For all my Spanish people out there, I know what's up.
Okay.
But yeah, again, they're doing things that I do like. Again, in general, as far as AEW goes, listen, there's stuff that I like, there's stuff that I don't like, and I think again the fact that they're on TNT is wrestling back on a major platform again that's just not a Vince McMahon company. And honestly, again, in all seriousness, I want this to succeed for the wrestler, but more importantly for Tony Khan. So there you go.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I guess that's pretty much it in terms of like everything else. I know we have another thing to get into, and that's also just constantly changing. And who knows what's going to be happening as we speak as of right now. But in terms of WrestleMania, and I know with the virus and everything that really screwed things up. So now with WrestleMania rumored to be canceled and what was going to happen with that. And of course, obviously, it wasn't going to be happening in Tampa. So a lot of things got changed. As far as I know, right now, we're not having TakeOver. Hall of Fame, that's looking to be moved around SummerSlam time, which is fine, that makes sense. So now, WrestleMania looking to be in the Performance Center, and for the first time, looking to be on 2 nights, so Saturday and Sunday as of right now, unless things change again. You never really know. In terms of being there for 2 nights, at least for me, it does make sense and having it being that way. So with the others, you can have the matches that, would have probably been skipped over. Now they can actually have their chance to be there and everything. I'm not too sure how they're going to do things. Maybe we can have, again, an interaction with the fans, because there's been no fans recently, and kind of how like NWA has recently done things, again going back to the Circle Squared and everything. And my friend actually mentioned this too at Wrestlemania Reality. I liked his idea of having it be like interactive WrestleMania and stuff like that sort of thing. So what are your thoughts on WrestleMania not only being at the Performance Center with no fans and now being 2 nights? Steven, your thoughts?
Repeat that again. I'm sorry. Repeat that again.
Your thoughts?
Okay, right, my bad. WrestleMania. Listen,
Yeah.
the fact that it's a 2-day event, this whole thing sucks. Let's be real about it. This whole thing sucks right now. It's a situation that, again, they couldn't control. It's out of their control.
Yeah.
I understand that. I feel bad for WWE in the situation. I feel bad for the city of Tampa, who lose a shitload of money in this situation as well.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
bad
crazy.
for the talent. I feel bad for everyone that maybe some of the WWE that are also taking place on this event as well. At the same, again, it sucks. It totally sucks. If it was up to me, I would postpone the show to a future date. I did hear rumblings about MSG sometime in June.
That would
Which
have been
honestly,
cool.
it would have been a better decision than doing it at the PC.
Yeah.
Because to me, here's the thing about it, right? Some of these matches, not every match, but some of the key matches on that show, you need an audience. Like, you can't tell me that AJ Styles and The Undertaker are going to wrestle in an empty arena with no people, with no reaction at all.
Right.
You can't tell me that Drew and Brock, who, again, I feel bad for Drew because you got to believe that Drew's going to win the match, he's going to win the belt, and he's having this moment, right? Now, no longer in front of a stadium. You got to feel bad in a way for someone like Rhea Ripley, who, A, is in the biggest match of her career up to this moment, right? At WrestleMania against arguably the top women performer right now on that brand on the big stage, and now it's scrapped.
Fucking sucks, yeah.
You know what I mean? Sucks right now. It's just, but again, things happen. I'm pretty sure they'll make this work to their capacity. Will I still watch? Absolutely, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, do you think like maybe like how they did with AEW to do something like that with the wrestlers like in the crowd? Would that help? At least a little bit? I don't know.
I would say so, yes, from my understanding that what I've heard, they're gonna have fans, like not fans, but they're gonna have personnel.
Yeah.
Like some of the legends be there, some of the family members be there. God forbid one of them gets caught with the virus.
Yeah, which we don't need that.
Exactly.
Alright, so Connor, your thoughts? I don't know if he's still here.
Oh, sorry, I was here. Sorry, I had a little interruption on the mic here. My apologies.
Okay.
It is what it is. Like I don't want to go like too much into it because obviously it's a bizarre situation of having, it's not just a Raw, it's not just a SmackDown, it's not just an NXT, it's not a pay-per-view. It's the pay-per-view. It's the biggest show, not only of like the year for a wrestling company. It's pretty much the biggest wrestling show. Period. You can't compare it to any other ones, right? I mean, hell, me and Steven were at the one where it was Dallas, 100,000 people. You're literally going from 100,000 people plus to zero. It's crazy to think about that.
Yeah, it's really
At the end of the day, though, people's safety and health is always a top priority. Right. I think, though, that as much as maybe even me or Steven or whoever says they should have postponed it, they should have done this, they should have done that, Vince McMahon has a very big mentality of the show must go on and will always go on no matter what. So I'm not really surprised that was going to take place. or even that was going to take place at the Performance Center. You know, with all these crazy turbulent times that we're living in right now, just keep an open mind with everything. I think that you know, it's another challenge, it's another step up, and I think that it's just creating a unique situation, and we have to, you know, do what you got to do. You know, at this point, it's everyone's affected, everything's happening, and just have to power on through. That's really the only way to go about it.
Yeah.
It's weird, it's bizarre, but very interesting at the same time.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing now, constantly like checking up on them, especially before they actually go into the arena. So hopefully they will check that out even more, and hopefully things will go through and things will be fine and everything, and we can go back to normal. Hopefully, who knows at this point, but that would be really nice to see, and everything gets well and stuff. So in terms of everything else, that's pretty much like all the topics that I do have. Unless there's anything else, like any final words, shout-outs in between, we'll go back to Connor on that.
Well, you guys can, of course, you forgot one other piece of tidbit news, David, because we all have something in common now. All three of us can be found on okfabe.com.
That is true, yep. So we were able to get the hookup on that.
Yep. So if you guys like all of our stuff, Steven's, myself, and of course Dave's, you can find all three of us and find all of our content over at okfabe.com. You can find obviously my stuff in terms of my reviews, the Random Wrestling Podcast on Fight, and of course follow me on all social media. And of course you can also find all of their stuff too, including In the Hot Seat with Dave, and of course Heel Steven with Around the Point.
Yes. Quick little topic here. This is just in per Brian Alvarez.
All right.
AEW this week, 932,000. NXT, 542,000. Yikes.
You can't say you're surprised.
Well, obviously AEW winning that one with Matt Hardy showing up and everything. And
Yeah.
Brody Lee. Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Alright, so any final thoughts before we end things off for Steven and shoutouts?
Well, overall, guys, this was fun. Again, right now, everyone's going through a tough time. Some people are out of work right now. Some people are at work. Some people are just want all this to end, right? This whole COVID-19 situation.
Right.
It's not going to be a matter of tomorrow. It's going to take time. I think people need to be patient, need to just be positive on things. Don't let the media have you shook. You know what I mean? Everyone has to just stay safe. In the words of Filbert the Turtle from Rocko's Modern Life, just turn the page and wash your hands.
That's a very good point in that. But yeah, definitely just keep things safe and, you know, talk to your friends, you know, do stuff again that makes you happy and stuff like that. Try not to be too much on the news and everything. You can stay informed with it and stuff, but try not to watch it too much and everything is my best advice on that. And yeah, definitely keep washing your hands, stay clean, follow everything that we have to follow, and hopefully things will get back to normal. So I do appreciate Steven and as well Connor for helping me out and being on this, and we'll see what happens with the next episode.
Facts.
Alright, until then, stay safe out there. See ya.
Just believe.
Okay, forget it, I got it. Tryna go down. Okay, forget it, I got it. Okay, forget it, I got it. You kids ain't really about it. I stay posh, I'm tryna go diamond. Okay, forget it, I got it. Okay, forget it, I got it. These boys ain't really about it. I stay side tryna overaccomplish. Okay, forget it, I got it. Don't worry, I got it for real. Don't worry, I'm honest as hell. Don't worry, I keep it a bill. Honestly, Phil, you finna go fail. So when you say my name, you better go chill. Never know when, you never know where, but chances are I run it in there. Something's weird, you shit in my tracks for a couple of years. Now you love it when you suckers appear. Think I got a motherfucking idea? Oh yeah, and I got another one here. Ain't for effort, but can never compare. I just got this devilish stare to what my reflection said in the mirror. But after this, but the all be